never stop at one. I'll take you all on.
At least I'll have the satisfaction of destroying you, Optimus Prime.
You can't remember my name.
The weak shall perish?
Do not believe everything you read.
Hello everyone, I'm Cyberverse Prime, and today I want to show off a special figure in my collection, and this is my custom Transformers Studio Series Voyager class Starscream. Now you're probably going, wait, custom? Yes, I do some customizing here and there when I, pluck up the courage, or I feel like the figure is just, lacking in some sort of paint applications. I'll do a small custom, but this is probably one of the biggest customs that I've done in a few years that I've been practicing customizing Transformers. Now, I did not paint the tattoos on. This is actually a Revenge of the Fallen Starscream. So if you think the tattoos are really detailed, they are, because Hasbro applied them themselves. Anyway, I did draw a few of them. I did put a couple of them, but you won't see them until robot mode. And I'm sorry if it's not, I'm sorry if it's not like, accurate or whatever, but I did my best, because I'll explain more when I get into robot mode. But I started the customizing off in jet mode because I thought, you know what, it would be kind of cool if we got like the '07 Starscream Studio Series figure, but with the tattoos. And I think a lot of people really wanted that, but there aren't any stickers or anything that you could apply to that version of Starscream to give him his Revenge of the Fallen / Dark of the Moon look. You couldn't do that. So I took it upon myself to basically, I got a fine-tipped, actually I'll show you. I used mostly these paints. Now this isn't the paint pen that I used. It was a fine-tip version of Painter's paint pens, and this is exactly what I used. Well, not exactly, because this is medium. This is a medium tip. But I had a fine tip version, and with the fine tip, I went around all the tattoos as best as I could. And what I did was basically got into the crevices and grooves where I could with the silver paint pen. And when I was done with that, I was like, okay, fine. Because I really just wanted to start off in jet mode, just trying to get it to my liking. So with the paint pen, I managed to get this look. Now, I didn't get every single bit of like that cream color Starscream was. So what I did was I just did my best, and this is the result, and I think it looks pretty good. That, and I don't know, I really like what I did. I didn't use just the paint pen. I did use some Tamiya. I think it's Tamiya color X10 item 81510. This is gunmetal. I did use this on a few parts of Starscream just to finish up the custom, because it did look good on him. But mostly it was red and silver paint pen and a black paint pen, and then that, which I actually recently just finished this guy. So, yep, here he is in jet mode, and he looks pretty good. Sorry for that intro, and sorry for explaining so much, but yep, that's basically what I did. You can see paint streaks and stuff like that, but I'm hoping to go back one day and actually fix that, make it look better. Same on this side. But yeah, this is my custom painted Starscream for Dark of the Moon. Mainly because I just think that this guy looks better in this color scheme. Now here is the saw blade. this is how I actually started the custom, was actually on the saw blade. I didn't like the translucent clear orange, so I just removed the saw blade because it's on a friction peg and painted it up in the silver. Then I took the handle that it clips into and painted it gunmetal. So there's that part. And then there's some of the symbols there and some of the the tattoos there. But most of the detail is in robot mode, which we're going to go ahead and get to now. So and I didn't get, you can see what he used to look like right there. But yeah, I even painted the landing gear and all that other crap. So to transform him, flip that up, flip these up. It's the traditional Dark of the Moon Deluxe Class Starscream transformation. So go ahead and take this part here and fold that down. And I only painted the parts where you would see the figure, but you wouldn't, unless you're transforming it. I'm not going to go into too much detail. And then you raise this up. Get his arms out of there. They tab in a lot better now since there's paint on them. Go ahead and raise these sections here. Sorry if I don't go into full detail on how to transform them. It's just I've shown this figure off, I think, a couple of times, and it's just the particular mold of this figure I've shown off a few times. Here you can definitely see some of the lining and stuff. It's when it only hits inserting. It only hits on certain angles and certain lighting. So I'm kind of glad you can see that. Maybe I should just swing his arms out first before I try to tab those in. Oh, I don't want to scrape any paint. That's the problem. Alright, there we go. Rotate that. Rotate this. Rotate that out. I'll do this. Oh God, come on. There you go. Rotate that out. Undo the hand. Undo his hand there. And then come here to this part. Fold that down. Fold that up. Fold. Ooh. Take these. Fold that out. Fold this. Tab that in. Just like that. Take this. I'll tab that. Ooh. Come on now. Get on there. Okay. Then tap these up just like that. There you go. Undo these. Fold down his legs. Fold down the legs. Fold down the feet. And there is Starscream in his robot mode. There's my custom Dark of the Moon Starscream in robot mode. And as you can see, there's a lot more detail in this mode than there is in alt mode. So, yeah. Basically, I painted him. When I was done with jet mode, I moved on to robot mode. And there was a few things that really irked my nerves with this guy. And most of it was he had no tattoos on his thighs. He had no tattoos down here. He was missing a ton of his tattoos. Or, his logos and shit like that. Anyway, so what I did was I drew on most of the symbols. And you're probably wondering, dude, how the hell were you able to do that? There's not too many clear shots of him in Revenge of the Fallen or Dark of the Moon to where you can see all this detail. I know that. So what I did do was look up the 3A figure. If you remember the 3A figures, those giant, non-transforming versions of these characters, they did Starscream, and I basically went online, looked it up, and that's where I got most of the details from. So I went in with my black paint pen and just drew on the symbols on his shoulders, on his forearms, here, on his legs, on his thighs, on his crotch area as well. I did a lot of work, and I was doing my best to make sure that this guy was going to look as equally badass in robot mode as well as in vehicle mode. There's a close-up of his head. You can kind of see the cream colors. I didn't get all of it because I didn't mind showing some of it. To me, it kind of looks like battle damage. So, that and from afar, you can't really tell of how kind of bad a custom this is. If you don't think it's a bad custom, then hey, I thank you. I really do. But to me, I wish I could have done better. But this is the best that I could do. I even painted his little forearm pieces here red because I knew that there were some bits of red on Starscream's arms and his biceps, but I couldn't remember exactly where. So I was very happy that I managed to find out where those bits were when I looked at the 3A figure. This thing is heavily based off of that figure. Anyway, yeah, there is Starscream in robot mode. The articulation is the same. Head is on a swivel. He can look up, do the transformation. He's got a bicep. He does have a mushroom peg swivel joint here. He has double jointed hinges here at the elbow, ball joint wrist swivel, which is cool. Nothing at the waist, obviously. He does have a universal joint here at the hip, double jointed legs due to transformation. Oh yeah, I even did some of the tattoos on his kneecaps as well, which is really heavy into detail. I really did go all out on this guy, and then he does have that. Oh yeah, it kind of has ankle tilt, but not really, with that swivel joint there. But anyway, yeah, there's no tattoos on his saw blade because I don't think there were any on his saw blade. I can't really remember. If there was, cool, but I'm still not going to do it because that's just going to be too damn tedious. Same way, you fold up his hand and then peg this in through the grooves. And the reasoning why I love the pegs that way is so there's no friction when I go to remove the weapon. I didn't want paint rub, and nor did I want I didn't want anything to be compromised to where the figure couldn't operate as is when you get them out of the box. But yep, that is my custom Dark of the Moon Starscream, and I can do a before and after, so I will show that off. Mainly because I do have a second Starscream to go on my Revenge of the Fallen shelf. So, yeah. Here's a before and after. And you can definitely see the amount of work that I put into this. So, you can see that there are some details that aren't completely picked out. I got rid of the copper color here on the ankles because that's where set tattoos go. He only had one tattoo on his thigh, which I kept, but then I had to add some more. There was nothing here, so I added some. There was nothing on the crotch, I added some. But yeah, you can definitely see the before and after look between the two figures. And bits where there aren't any tattoos, I just simply couldn't put them there. Because of the molding of the plastic, and there wasn't a good enough surface to really draw them on. So, yeah, this guy was going to be just a simple repaint, but then I decided to just add the tattoos and just say screw it. I'll just give him the extra tattoos because it'll make him look more presentable in robot mode. And that's pretty much the whole reasoning why I painted him, was I just wanted to see what this guy would look like in this color scheme, and this looks 10 times better in my opinion. But yeah, there are my two tattooed up Starscreams, and I can't lie. This is my third copy of this figure. I have 3 of these actually. I plan on getting rid of the other one, mainly because it has sun damage, but then again, since he was in a desert at the ending of the movie, the one that's sun damaged kind of looks like he's been duking it out in the sand, so I don't know. I might just keep it because it's badass, but this is basically the before, and this is the after. And then, I guess for a quick size comparison with the other Dark of the Moon related character that I've recently reviewed, there he is with his Lord and Master Megatron, and these two look freaking great together. And then you have Igor. So yeah, this is awesome. I love this. A lot of my friends love it as well. So I decided to do a video review on it, mainly to show off my work on what I've done to this Starscream. Oh Lord, I just said the word, or the words, what I've done. Wait, that's not what I can't sing, okay? I'm sorry. What I've done, I face myself. There we go. I finally somewhat got it right. But anyway, yep. And then for another comparison, in case if anybody was wondering, I do have him off of the shelf at the moment. Mainly because I'm getting him ready for next week, because I'm going to be flipping between Autobots and Decepticons, so I'm getting a certain Prime ready, and no, it's not Sen. It's Optimus. But anyway, yep, there he is with Optimus, looking pretty cool. Yes, I do have the DNA kit, like I said. There he is with Megatron, but this isn't Optimus's review, it's Starscream's. But yeah, so there is Starscream in all of his glory. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video review. This custom took about a year, maybe, to do, and I'll have to admit, I'm really, really liking this custom. I think this is one of my favorite customs in my collection. But, and it's funny, because this isn't the only Dark of the Moon custom that I have. A ton of the Dark of the Moon figures from Studio Series I was very, very disappointed in. Mostly the fact that we never got a Starscream for it, which I kind of get it, but at the same time it would have been nice. And then Sentinel was a disappointment. That I know some people really enjoy that figure, but I am sorry. The paint on that thing, the fact that they casted him in that chocolate brown plastic and then painted him red, that was such a disgrace. That was a disgrace, and I corrected that disgrace, just so you know. But anyway, yep. Starscream here looks pretty good in my opinion, and I think I thank you all for showing support and gratitude and giving me a lot of encouragement to finish this custom. And now that he's finished, I'm pretty happy with him. He's a pretty good figure. So anyway, thank you all so much, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.